How you doing? This is Suleiman Ascad from Professional Boxing. I just want to talk about boxing today, about everything that's going on, and especially in the heavyweight division for now. Dillian White. Dillian White's looking for an opponent. I don't know, man. Dillian White should fight, should keep his momentum, fight high quality opponents. He has a choice either getting a rematch with Joseph Parker, in my opinion. He could do another fight with Joseph Parker and maybe finish him by knockout early, or he could look for another fight with Derek Chisora, right? Fight Derek Chisora or stay busy fight with, with Carlos Takam. That would be a good fight too. He has a lot of options. I know he wants to fight for a heavyweight championship, but the thing with the heavyweight championship, you're all tied up with fights right now. It's time. We have to see what happens after the fights are over. But let me see. Manuel Charles gonna fight soon. I mean, he's taking a long time to fight for this against Fres Oquendo. But once he fights Fres Oquendo, that title is available. Uh, Even if it's a regular heavyweight championship, there's still a world title, and he could springboard to the Super WBA. What I understand from the WBA heavyweight championship right now, they just want to be themselves. They don't want to be unified. If they don't want the title to splinter, like right now it's splintered into three pieces, it's you have to have one sole champion there defending his titles, like a super title. And then they won't splinter. The reason the interim title came about was because Manuel Charles alone wouldn't fight with Fres Oquendo, and Anthony Joshua being occupied with Alexander Povetkin. So they had fractured once again, and now we have an interim champion. If I was Dillian White should wait for the results of Fres Oquendo against his age, and also Manuel Charles. And if Manuel Charles beats him in a spectacular fashion, try to get a fight with him and contest for that belt, attain that world title, and push for a fight with unification fight with Anthony Joshua, and see if you could unify that title and attain the other titles. I don't know. I think Dillian White has a chance against Anthony Joshua. He got that good boxing style. He got the lateral movement. He has enough power. He's tenacious in there. He's not afraid to throw his hands. He's not afraid to slug it out. Uh, to tell the truth, he looks more fluid. He looks more fluid in his boxing style than Joshua sometimes. Um, Look what he did with an opponent that Joshua took his belt, Joseph Parker. I think he beat him in a better fashion than Anthony Joshua did. He also fought an unbeaten fighter before that, Lucas Brown. People say, "Oh, Lucas Brown ain't nothing," blah blah blah. But Lucas Brown was a regular world heavyweight champion, and he was stripped because he was on some kind of PED or steroid or something. But so he annihilated him. He had faster hands than him. He loaded up on him and knocked him out with a huge left hook. So Dillian White right now he's the silver titleist of the WBC. He's the number one ranked contender. But if I was him, I just want to maintain the momentum, fighters that are available. Also, that Francisco Pineda that could be a good opponent for him, a good perimeter fighter for him. That was an ex-European champion that just finished fighting 10 rounds with Tyson Fury, the lineal heavyweight champion of the world. In my opinion, that he still is a lineal heavyweight champion of the world. Uh, Tyson Fury just fought that guy on his second fight, come back, and the guy is still young. He's 6'5", has a southpaw style, and could box his butt off. Bro. He boxed 10 rounds with Tyson Fury, but Tyson Fury's boxing style was so superior, and his head was so superior that he lost all the rounds, but he went 10 rounds with him. So that'd be a good perimeter opponent for Dillian White. And I don't think nobody wants to fight him at this time because he has a tricky southpaw style. So if Dillian White could knock him out better than Tyson Fury, then he could use that to negotiate for a better fight. He says, "Look, I beat an opponent that went 10 rounds with Tyson Fury in an early knockout. I beat Joseph Parker. I dropped him twice. I hurt him. I knocked out Lucas Brown, an unbeaten ex WBA heavyweight champion of the world. So he could use all these all these ex-opponents as barometers to fight. Also, he has that win over Derek Chisora, a unanimous win. That's a fighter that Tyson Fury fought twice. Use him as a barometer also uh, to uh, to to contest for heavyweight championship of the world. Um, right now, to tell the truth, right now, Manuel Charr, I like him a lot, but after all this long layoff that he has, if he could keep himself fresh and beat this guy, Fresh Oquendo, if he gets matched with Dana White, he's gonna be the underdog because Dana White has fast hands. He's been much more active. Uh, I think he's younger. He only has one loss on his resume, and I mean he has everything, man. He has the left hook, the right hand, the uppercuts on the inside. He has the power. He has the youth, the stamina. I mean, Dillian has everything in his boxing repertoire. To tell you, I think he's the most qualified um, non-champion in the heavyweight division, and what they got to do is match him for a title. I guess he's gonna have to push for a fight. So if he attains that WBA regular belt for Manuel Charr, or Manuel Charr upsets Dillian White, then one of these two guys, Manuel Charr or Dillian White, could contest for a heavyweight championship. If Deontay Wilder manages to hurt or knock out Tyson Fury, but which I doubt very much because Tyson Fury is 6'9". Tyson Fury has never been hurt, in my opinion, in any of his fights. Only he was dropped for like a flash knockdown by Steve Cunningham. He came back and knocked him out in the same fight. Who was ex cruiserweight champion. Um, I haven't seen him hurt in any of his fights. That fight with Vladimir, I didn't see him hurt at all. If if he manages to completely outbox and keep away from Deontay Wilder for 12 rounds, and the mandatories could be abated or wait for him to get a rematch, that'd be nice because he gets 2 wins over Deontay Wilder. He takes that all away from him. He could show that he could go 24 rounds with the current WBC heavyweight champion of the world. That means he's back. He goes to 2 training camps. That means he himself tip-top physical condition so he could defend that belt properly and push for a unification fight with Anthony Joshua. But if Joshua wants to be a diva like he did with Deontay Wilder, or Anthony Joshua probably wants to be the beaten Deontay Wilder, and that's the only way Deontay Wilder could get him, by losing his belt to another fighter. Then all he got to do is fight the other fighters. Fight up Manuel Charr, the winner match with Manuel Charr, or the match against Dillian White. Fight somebody else. Fight Joseph Parker as a barometer. See how he looks against Joseph Parker, against these other guys. He also will fight this guy Charles Martin, who's still ranked, who's coming up in the rankings, and he's available. He lost in 2 rounds to Anthony Joshua. I think he was in awe. I think he wasn't prepared to be in a huge audience like that, and the way they rushed him into that fight, I think he was just in ooh la la land, just being there in England, be treated like that and paid so well so early in his career. So I don't know, maybe he trained much better in his next fight. And also, I think he's a southpaw, and southpaws are very tricky in the heavyweight division. They create a lot of upsets. So that's what I would like to see. I would like to see these heavyweights keep themselves busy. Big Baby Miller is another one. He wants to get a fight. He wants to continue to be in the limelight. So he's gonna have to fight one of these qualified contenders, like Dillian White, like Manuel Charr, like one of these guys that's available, like Brian Jennings, Boo Boo Jennings just want to fight. That means he's available. I would like to see Boo Boo Jennings against Baby Miller. That would be a good fight. Baby Miller against Boo Boo Jennings. Boo Boo Jennings, what he lacks to me is like He lacks that one punch knockout power, but accumulated punches, and he also has fluid hands. He also has the positive mental attitude that he's been there with a heavyweight champion of the world. He got knocked out by a possible future heavyweight champion, still Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz knocked him out, and he looks like he's on a comeback from that knockout loss. And he won against this Alexander Lomachenko guy. He was on the way to knock him out, and in a way, they gave him a premature knockout loss, but it was gonna happen no matter what. It was inevitable, and he's showing people that he could box. He's not afraid to fight the best available opponents. That would be a good fight. Him against Baby Miller. Baby Miller's current for opponent. Look right there. You got Boo Boo Jennings available. Try to make that fight happen, and the winner from that could be matched for one of the opponents. But right now, I don't think Baby Miller could handle Dillian White. Dillian White is too concussively. He's too stationary. He's gonna try to he's too slow. He's like a Lucas Brown, and when it comes to his physicality, the only way he has a chance against the boxing technique of Dillian White, if he corners him on a corner and manages to hurt him, and maybe that'll stop the fight. But the way Dillian White boxes, he likes to fight in the center of the ring, uses jab, combination punching. He likes to end everything with that beautiful left hook, his combinations. He likes to put all his weight behind that left hook at the end of his combinations. That's gonna bust up Baby Miller. So Baby Miller should fight a guy like Boo Boo Jennings, who doesn't have that power, that concussive power of Dillian White, and see if he could put him away early or get a good win on his resume, so he could continue to try to rise up in the rankings of the heavyweight division. To me, I don't know. After Tyson Fury fought, he just put a spark into the heavyweight division. Everybody's talking about the heavyweight division this week. Everybody's excited. It's true. People say Tyson Fury is very, very marketable. He's very popular. He's a children's champion. The children like him a lot. And I'm talking about a children's champion. Deontay Wilder was in Alabama football team or school making a speech. I see some photos of it. I don't know what he was talking about, but he tried to be very casual with a gold chain and try to get the youth to acknowledge him and see that he's available as a mentor for them in the heavyweight division. I just hope he could gather himself correctly and summon enough power, for his spontaneous power to beat this phenomenon that he's gonna be fighting. To tell you the truth, I don't know, man. I think, to me, the underdog in this fight is gonna be Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder will be the underdog. Even though it's a 50-50 fight, he's the current WBC heavyweight champion, but the skill asset of Tyson Fury is way, way too much. He could box. He's the bigger man. He has the bigger reach. He has the positive mental attitude. They say that he had a mental problem. I think what it was, is the stress. The stress. He was depressed at the time. He got an injury on his ankle while he was training. I think that's what caused him to collapse mentally at that time. But I don't think he's showing any signs of a mental disability. If anything, he's very aggressive. He's an overachiever. He got himself in tip-top condition for this fight against Francisco de Pineda and beat him. He didn't take no risks because he got a good payday coming up. So that shows me that he's mental fortitude. I mean, he has mental fortitude to go 10 rounds with an ex-European champion that's also 6'5" and has a cutie southpaw European style that confuses a lot of people. I mean, he only had four losses on his resume. He lost by split decision against an opponent before the fight. He lost to Kirk Johnson, by knockout. Which Kirk Johnson is a tricky fighter. Sometimes he manages to hurt people, even though Anthony Joshua put him away very quickly. Remember that time when Anthony Joshua knocked him out. He lost to ex-champion Ruslan Chagaev, and also he lost to Vladimir when he was unbeaten, contesting for Vladimir's titles. So Francisco Pineda, to me, this was a showcase fight for both fighters. It was not only a showcase fight for Tyson Fury, but I think it was also a showcase fight for Francisco Pineda. Pineda, I think stock went way up after this fight because he went 10 rounds with the lineal heavyweight champion of the world. He showed that he could confuse a champion. He also that a fighter that he's not gonna try to take risk with him in there to hurt him because Tyson Fury was strictly boxing, peppering with his jab, moving around. He didn't go for a knockout. He didn't try to hurt him. The kid was durable, very durable. He had pretty good stamina. He went in there 10 rounds with, again with the lineal heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury, and I mean, I think the kid became very marketable after this fight. And also he showed championship charisma because after the fight he didn't whine about the decision. He didn't say nothing negative. He showed some like charisma that Joseph Parker showed after his loss to Dillian White and his loss to Anthony Joshua. I mean, these guys want to keep making paydays. These guys, Joseph Parker and Francisco Pianeta, are welcoming that money. So even though they're getting a loss on their resume by the unanimous decision, they still become very marketable European and foreign fighters. I mean, these two guys could fight anybody in the heavyweight division, any champion, in a title contention, and nobody could say a thing. They say, "Wow, these guys are great, man," and that's what we need: high quality opponents. We also got this European heavyweight champion that's also based out of Germany, Turkish guy. Ajit Caballel. I would like to see him come to America and get matched with one of these fighters, and contest and defend his maybe his European bout champion or contest one of these titles. I just hope Manuel Charles gets Fuerza Kendo out of there and starts becoming very active with that belt. That belt right now. Other fighters want to contest for it. That's why it's splintered once again. We got a WBA interim heavyweight champion because these guys want to be active and they want to contest for a championship of any manner possible. So Anthony Joshua is gonna fight Alexander Povetkin. I think Povetkin he brings the power in the game. He's a very active heavyweight champion, a very stunning punching heavyweight. He could put you out with either hand. He comes in maybe 6'1", 6'2". He's a Russian native. Very aggressive. He is so aggressive in there and so qualified that he got one of the best promoters in the world this time. That's based out of Russia, and I mean, hey man, he's very well qualified, man. He beat a lot of fighters. I mean, a fight got canceled with Deontay Wilder over some discrepancy of him coming out positive for some substance, and Deontay Wilder just canceled the fight and flew out of there, and I think Bermane Stiverne did the same thing. He was gonna fight Alexander Povetkin and he flew out of there too. He said, "Oh, I don't gotta fight this guy," and he vacated. And this guy managed to get this guy in a pair of running shoes, and I think he's wearing some Aviax shoe sneakers. Johan as a substitute fighter, and hey, he wasn't training for a big guy, big French heavyweight guy like that. Johan Dupapas carries a punch. He's a big dude too, and this guy went in there and wore him out and knocked him out. I mean, he specialized in knocking out these big heavyweights. I mean, he also recently fought David Price, and David Price, man, put his hands on him and everything. And he managed to overachieve, being hurt one of the rounds. Everybody was saying, "Oh, he almost got knocked out and that," but hey, David Price could hit, and recovered from that, broke him down, wore the guy out, hit him with a right hand, opened the whole defense, and laid him out with a left hook. When he did that, he created lacerations in David Price's mouth, busted up David Price's face, busted up his eyes and everything. So by that fight, his stock went sky up. He started pushing for that WBA #1 contention, which he also was a WBA regular heavyweight champion at one time, and the title has splintered, and he pushed for a fight with Vladimir Klitschko for his belts, and he went in there and went the distance. That's the only loss he has on the resume. He went 12 rounds where at that time with Vladimir Klitschko was the current unified champion, and he was a regular heavyweight champion that won and fought 12 rounds with the guy. I mean, he looked a little spent, but to fight a guy in his prime like Vladimir Klitschko at that time and go 12 rounds, I mean, I'll be walking my chest out too. You know what I'm saying? So this guy's walking with his chest out. He's knocking out all these very big heavyweights like David Price, like Johann Dupapas. He's knocking these guys out. These other guys don't want to fight him. They come out with excuses and song and dances. But the man that's not giving those song and dances is Anthony Joshua. They thought he was going to give up that belt. When they pushed for that thing, Anthony Joshua said, "Forget it. We gotta go for this mandatory. I just went I went toe with Vladimir for that belt, and I'm not gonna let it go." So he went in there, and now look at this. They're gonna fight. People are saying there's still a lot of seats available for this fight, and in the UK, and people don't want to see this fight and all this thing. And I just think they're just gonna be late buyers at the same time. Um, I think Vladimir Alexander Povetkin has a chance to create an upset. Uh, he has the punching power. He has a pretty good jab. He could throw combinations when you get hurt. Anthony Joshua is gonna have to be on his defensive in this fight. He's gonna have to use his jab, his lateral movement, somewhat like what he did with Joseph Parker and Carlos Takam. Use that jab to disrupt the smaller, power punching, upsetting Alexander Povetkin, and see if he can win this fight. And if he can't win this fight, then and if he can't win this fight, then and if he can't win this fight, then once again, excuse me, somebody was knocking my. If he can't win this fight, then move on. And if he loses the fight, Anthony Joshua in this fight by knockout or by a split decision or managed to hurt Anthony Joshua, he's still a very marketable opponent. He still could get a lot of good fights. He still could get a lot of good fights and contest for other championships. So this will be a great fight, a great matchup for him. Got some guy knocking on my door. Got somebody knocking on my door this time. Not interested. Knocking on my door this time. This afternoon in New York City, you know how people is. They like to knock on people's doors for particular stuff. So yeah, get back to Alexander Povetkin. Well, Alexander Povetkin, if he manages to go the distance and manages to hurt Anthony Joshua in this fight, this heavyweight title fight, this guy, he could become much more marketable in loss. We've seen that today in present time. A lot of these heavyweights, people's coming out with excuses about them. They make a fight and they become marketable. They become a barometer. He been 2 rounds before Vladimir Klitschko in that fight. I think he matured very much. He knows that he in a 12-round decision could be very dubious against him. So I think he's going to capitalize on that by using power. He's going to try to hurt Joshua early. He's going to use body attacks. He's going to use a disruptive, that disruptive hurting right hand to make Anthony Joshua lower his guard from opening him up, and then capitalize on that left hook that he has. Finish all his combinations with left hook. Also, he's going to use that drop style that he does, that he makes you drop your guard by attacking your body. So if he uses that drop style, that power forward drop style, that Russian, I call it the Russian power forward drop style, it makes you lower your guard. He could create openings, and he'd be able to hurt Joshua early. And we saw that Joshua basically it took him a couple of rounds to recover from a knockdown when he fought Vladimir Klitschko. And we saw also when Carlos Takam hit him with a headbutt, That also gave him a couple of rounds for him. He takes a couple of rounds to recover. Uh, Also, the big crowd affects him also. We saw that in his previous fights. He has his fans. He's like he don't want to be embarrassed in front of his fans. So in this fight here, when Alexander Povetkin, if Povetkin manages to hurt him early, that's going to destroy his whole game plan. I don't know if Anthony Joshua has matured enough to go into plan B or C. If his plan A doesn't work, if he goes in there and says, wait a minute, my power's not working against this Russian, what am I going to do? Am I going to be able to box 12 rounds? Am I going to be able to use another way to beat this guy? Am I going to attack his body? Am I going to another game plan? Also, are we going to see his trainers do anything about that? We haven't seen too much about that. His trainers getting into the game there. All basically we see is Eddie Hearn, his promoter, and Anthony Joshua. His trainers are completely out of the limelight there. So, in order to see more of his trainers and to see more what Anthony Joshua brings into his game, we have to see Anthony Joshua get hurt. We have to see Anthony Joshua find an opponent like Alexander Povetkin that, hey, you use your power and the guy's still in front of me. My power is not doing nothing for this guy right now. I'm gonna have to do a mesh and see what can I do to hurt this guy and get him out of there. Or what am I gonna do if I'm losing a couple of rounds? What am I gonna do if I got a cut and I'm hurt? This is what we have to see. These are questions that we have to see in Anthony Joshua, very illustrious young career. Or maybe he says, oh, I blew it. I could have got that big $50 million payday with Deontay Wilder in his mind. And look, I'm fighting this Russian nightmare. And he's hurting me. He's 2 rounds or 3 rounds from knocking me out. Is that going to affect him? Is the UK crowd that's going crazy for him, is he going to bail out on him when he's nearly getting knocked out? These are the questions we must see. Is Eddie Hearn going to change his style when his man gets hurt? These are things we're going to see in this fight. We also got some answers, or some questions answered by Deontay Wilder when he fought Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz hurt him in the 7th round. And we got to see a very mature Deontay Wilder in that fight. He matured from the hurt. He didn't get dropped. He bit his lip, and he used a game plan to wear out and tire out Luis Ortiz and capitalize on his stamina problem and put him away. So in a way, Deontay Wilder has proved to us that he could do that, and maybe Anthony Joshua proved it to us when he fought Vladimir, because Vladimir dropped him and he recovered. But can he do it against Alexander Povetkin? That's what we want to see. Can he go against Alexander Povetkin, sustain Povetkin's power? Can he use his boxing ability, enough of his boxing ability, to not get hurt? This is a guy that knocked out David Price, who's probably just as big or even bigger than Anthony Joshua. He opened him up with a huge right hand. At his size, he's only 6'1", 6'2", and finish him off with a humongous left hook that left the man, in a hospital getting stitched up and looking horrible for weeks and months. So this is what we want to see. These are the kind of fights I like to see. That's why I like the heavyweight division so much. This is the fight that if Anthony Joshua wins, I think Joshua should get himself a soft touch. Even Alexander Povetkin get himself a soft touch if they win either one. And I think the soft touch for him will be Usyk. Usyk is calling that he wants to come up to the heavyweight division. He got this big boxing style, his size and all that. But can he take a heavyweight punch from Alexander Povetkin? Can he take a heavyweight punch from Anthony Joshua? So that'll be a soft touch for one of them. A fighter that doesn't have the power to hurt them. A fighter that's very marketable. That's a unified cruiserweight champion. Give him a fight there. And then after that, the winner from that, which I know is not going to be Usyk. I don't think Usyk could take that kind of nullifying power that either of these heavyweights have. And then push for unification by of the winner, Tyson Fury, the lineal heavyweight champion of the world, and the WBC heavyweight champion Deontay, the Alabamian Avalanche Wilder. Wilder has a lot of fans now. A lot of guys are pushing his agenda that they like him. He's becoming very marketable after all these possible matchups and these negotiations with Eddie Hearn. I like the guy. He has a lot of power, but he himself is gonna have to box. He's gonna have to use what a little drop power style, that Russian, a little bit of that Russian drop style that Povetkin is using to open up this big heavyweight that he's gonna fight and bust him up. If I was him, don't let up on this guy. Try to bust him up as possible. Try to keep that WBC belt. I don't know. You're coming up in age also. You got all those fights on you on your resume. I hope you still have enough on your tank to beat this guy, because if you beat him, then you're gonna be a contestant for the unified championship of the world, and you have a lot of American fans that do like it. So yeah, I basically try to talk about the heavyweight championship for a good half an hour, and I'm gonna see if I talk about a little bit about the welterweight division, about this guy that everybody's saying that's the top welterweight of the world. A guy that only defended his belt against Lamont Peterson, 140 pounder, and also for his number one ranked contender as IBF belt, the only belt that he won, the only world title he has won in his short professional career, an Olympian that did not win a medal. Errol, the True Spence. I think Errol has been flooded with compliments early in his career. I think Errol Spence right now has a lot to prove, and has to be more modest. He doesn't have the qualifications of a Terence Crawford. He doesn't have the qualifications of a Danny Garcia. He doesn't have the qualifications of Keith Thurman. He doesn't have the qualifications of any of these other celebrated welterweights at this time. So, even a Manny Pacquiao, of course, he doesn't have the Manny Pacquiao qualifications, or even a Jeff Horn. I mean, he beat two guys. He made two belt title defenses. He sat on a bench on a sofa for a while to Kell Brook got himself in shape to fight for the welterweight championship of the world, to defend his belt after he got his eye socket busted open by Triple G, because nobody wanted to fight that guy. So he went up there for the payday and got himself hurt. Okay, so they made him melt down back to 147, which I think that was a mistake in his career. He only had one loss on his resume, and he defended that belt against Errol Spence and lost. During that fight, people were saying Errol Spence was losing that fight. The only thing is that Errol Spence was still in the pocket. He was still training with Kell Brook, and he persevered, and Kell Brook got hurt. Once again, another eye socket broke, and he won the fight. Okay, he showed he's very durable. He showed that he has a perseverance about him. He has the constitution to go 12 rounds with a very qualified defending welterweight champion, which Kell Brook was at the time. And then Lamont Peterson, who had the WBA regular belt, saw a good payday with Errol Spence, and took the opportunity to go in there. And hey, man, Lamont Peterson tried his best, man. Lamont Peterson was trying to put his hands on him. Again, he's a 140 pounder, came up in weight, beat David Avanesyan for that WBA regular belt, and vacated that belt. Decided to vacate the belt and contest for the IBF title against Errol Spence, instead of unifying. So when he went against Errol Spence, the referee in the corner through the fight, I mean, the guy was he was a second tier opponent that day. He was being completely outclassed. His whole face was swollen up. His eyes were closing up. He could have took the other rounds that were left in punishment, but his corner decided to hang up the gloves so he could live to fight another day. Then he fought the Ocampos kid, who was the number one contender, a big Mexican American fella. I mean Mexican. I don't know if he's Mexican American, but I know he's a Mexican fella, a young cat that was defending and fighting in the Mexican circuit at the time. He got a win against Alvaro Robles, the ex-Mexican national champion at welterweight, and managed to knock him out. So this young cat gets put in, with Errol Spence. And I guess Errol Spence didn't want to give him no step aside money, and there was nobody else available. Or he himself thought that he had a chance, and he went in there and was fighting pretty good for the first round as long as it lasted. But once Errol Spence tagged him with that left to the body, the fight was over. So this is a guy that Errol Spence is a guy that basically he defended his belt twice against absolute opposition, and everybody's saying that he's the savior of the welterweight division, and I don't understand that. You got better opponents. You got Terence Crawford, undisputed 140-pound champ. They went up in weight, beat an unbeaten Jeff Horn, managed to knock him out. Okay, a guy that was smothering. I mean, he was jumping all over the place against Manny Pacquiao, and took his belt by a unanimous decision, and in his hometown, and decided to fight up and coming undisputed champion Terence Crawford. And Terence Crawford manages to nullify this guy's power. Took him out of his game plan. He couldn't even throw a jab through the whole fight. Um, Beat him to the punch. He only got tagged maybe I think once or twice in the beginning rounds, and completely decimated this guy. This guy was completely outclassed, which he was a bigger man. He was bigger. He was more physically stronger. In my opinion, that Terence Crawford managed to knock him out and become the WBO welterweight champion. And people overlooking this guy, um, Terence Crawford, who also had an astounding amateur career, and people were talking about Errol Spence being better than him. So I don't understand that. This fight has to be made, and I don't know if Errol Spence is gonna be the winner of that fight. And then you got this young cat from Philadelphia, the pride of Philadelphia and Puerto Rico, Danny Garcia, DSG, Swift, DSG. This guy is also a unified 140-pound champ. Comes up in weight, becomes WBC welterweight champion of the world. Okay, loses his belt by a dubious split decision to Keith Thurman. And Keith Thurman has been out of commission ever since. Okay, Keith Thurman had to be put under the surgical knife for an injury, and we haven't seen Keith Thurman yet in the ring. And he was stripped for that belt. And now Danny Garcia has a chance to become a two-time welterweight champion. The WBC welterweight champion by fighting Sean Porter, a small uh, a small fighter. I don't know how to describe him. He's smaller than Danny Garcia. He wears platform shoes. He could box, but he chooses not to box. He's a smothering, plotting style fighter. His father has nothing but compliments about his son, but I don't see his son improving in any fights. So I don't know how in the world is he gonna have a chance to or to hurt or beat Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia is gonna have a nice payday here. He's gonna become a two-division and also a two-time welterweight champion. His stock is gonna go up again, and I would like to see Danny Garcia fight Errol Spence next after this fight in a unification. I would like to see Danny Garcia quiet the mouths of all these guys that are making Errol Spence like a glorified premature welterweight sensation. I would like to see this guy get devastated by Danny Garcia, because he has a southpaw style. His jab he's leave him open to Danny Garcia's left hook. He's gonna duck that southpaw jab, go boom right there to the left hook to the body, then go upstairs. Danny Garcia has the tenacity. He's not gonna show no fear. The only thing that I think this fight is gonna stop this fight from happening is if they don't want to pay, but both have the same promoter, and this fight here could generate a lot of money. It's a big main event fight. Um, but I think the money could come up and probably in the endorsements. So once again, to continue with this, Danny Garcia ducking his jab, attacking his body ferociously. I know the kid has a body attack also, Errol Spence, but Errol Spence's body attack is way too lethargic. He has a lethargic telegraph body attack. He loads up too much on the inside. I think by the middle rounds, he's going to be busted up by Danny Garcia. Um, um, Underrated boxing style and his power attack. He also has a drop style too. Danny Garcia has a drop style. That left hook's gonna make Errol Spence lower his guard. His southpaw style. His right hand is gonna be catching him in the face all the time. He's also gonna be catching him also with the left hooks to the body and upstairs. He's gonna capitalize on the left hook to at the end of all his combinations, and I give it by late by 8 or 9 rounds. Errol Spence is he's gonna be a fighter that never achieved the how you call he's gonna show he never achieved his potential. Danny Garcia is gonna show the blueprint how to beat Errol Spence, and everybody's gonna be doing the same thing. Even if they give Kell Brook a rematch, Kell Brook is gonna do it. He was winning that fight. I think by seeing Danny Garcia do it, it's gonna create a blueprint that all the fighters are gonna be able to do that drop style against Errol Spence and knock him out. Errol Spence is not is gonna be a fighter that hey he won the IBF belt, defended it 2 times, and was ferociously knocked out by Danny Garcia, and everybody else that comes along is gonna do the same thing. And Danny Garcia is gonna have that belt and try to unify against maybe Terence Crawford, or if or how you maybe for the vacant WBA super belt, or maybe Manny gets how you call elevated to that belt, because I don't think Keith Thurman is interested in fighting one of these guys. I don't think he's interested in going in the hot bed again, or in the hot tub with the hot jacuzzi or whatever, or the sauna with one of these big power punching guys like Danny Garcia, or even Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford has his skill assets, his boxing skill assets is too much for Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is his skills. He got a busted shoulder or some surgery. He's not gonna want to fight now, and I think his long layoff is gonna hurt his career. I don't care what anybody says that, oh, he's still the best fighter. I think he should just retire, man. Hang up the gloves and forget about it. He's gonna drift into the limelight. He's another fighter. He's very short. These guys like Terence Crawford and Danny Garcia is pretty compatible to them. Danny Garcia has been active. Keith Thurman has not. So there's no way in hell that Keith Thurman could how you call duplicate a split decision win against Danny Garcia like that. I don't think so. You know, Danny Garcia will have the upper hand. He'd be the A+ fighter. He'd be a unified champion, and he will knock this man clean out. And everybody wants to see that, because that loss that Danny Garcia has to be avenged. That was a dubious loss. That to me, I think that was not fair. That fight could have gone either way, and I think Danny Garcia won that fight. Um, then at the end of the day, you know, I mean, Danny Garcia, I don't think he's gonna move it to 154 if he unifies. I guess his next opponent will be Terence Crawford. That's gonna be the fight. That's gonna be like the fight of the century, because Danny Garcia and him, they both coming up from 140. They were both unified champions. One undisputed, the other one was a unified champ. And if that fight gets made, maybe but to hype it up even more, match one of them with Amir Khan and match another one with Manny Pacquiao, something like that. So to create a hype, you know, to purge the fight even better, make them more qualified for this unification bout, and that's how you do it, man. You gotta purge that welterweight division of all these contenders, and may the best win, and may the best be the undisputed champion of the world. That's what I like right now about the heavyweight division. They're purging the heavyweight division right now. All these bums are managed to get put away, and the ones that do good in the fight, they become more marketable, and they become barometer fighters for better qualified fighters, so they could contest for heavyweight belts. So this is the blueprint that has to be done in the welterweight division. This is what we need to see, a blueprint like this to make the welterweight division more credible. And we also seeing that in the 140-pound division. So this is what we have to see in the welterweight division. So we could have an undisputed welterweight champion, somewhat like a Sugar Ray Leonard when he was a champion, and somewhat like this gentleman Roberto Duran when he upset him, and Sugar Ray Leonard won that belt back because he went to the gym, he became a gym rat, and built a new game plan to defeat. And we love those fights, right? So we want to see these fights like that again. So we want to see 147 pounders start implementing this blueprint, and we want to see this. So listen, man. I don't know how you guys could stay hours and hours here. Talking about boxing. I like to talk about quality boxing stuff. So I think I'm gonna wrap this video up. Once again, this is Professional Boxing with Suleiman I Oscar. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Um, if you want to listen to professional boxing, okay, and you know, these are my favorite divisions. Uh, the featherweight division right now, this Carl Froch guy, man, I'm gonna drift into the 126-pound division. This Carl Froch, man, he hurts people, man. I seen a video with in a pictures of that Luke Jackson cat from Australia, man. He busted both of his eardrums, closed his right eye from left hooks and jabs. And I mean, he made that guy look like a zombie, man. He zombified Luke Jackson, man. Not only he knock him out, but he zombified the guy, man. I'm gonna call him the zombie maker. Call the zombie maker Froch, bro. Frampton. Call the zombie maker Frampton. That Frampton cat, bro, is dangerous, bro. He's becoming dangerous, and then he's only an interim WBO champion. He's an ex-unified champion and an interim. At the present time, he's an interim champion. So you guys in the featherweight division better look out for this guy, because this guy puts his hands on people and manages to hurt them. So you guys be careful with that Irish cat right there. I mean, he's very dangerous. You broke both of his eardrums. One in the third round, I think, and one in the sixth round. Busted that eye up with those left hooks and that jab. And that dude is mad little. He is mad little. I mean, he barely makes. He's like 5'4". I mean, 5'4", and he's coming up to 126 and putting his hands on guys like that. Imagine what you do to a guy his size or something. I mean, that little cat could hit. So you gotta keep your eye on that Carl Frampton, man. I don't know if he gets that rematch with Leo Santa Cruz, or he gets to fight that young cat, the one that got his jaw broken in the WBO, that Omar guy. I mean, my goodness. So also that Warrington guy, if that Warrington guy, the IBF champion, wants to fight him, that's gonna be a good fight, man. He's heating up this 126-pound division, and he's making it exciting once again. So you guys take care, and you guys have a great night. Look out for that Carl Frampton, people. That Carl Frampton is a dangerous dude. Let me put this little music right here so you close the show out right here. Close the show out for your boxing fans, man. You guys have a good night, man. You guys have a good night.